Hi, welcome to this fourth and final video in this little series about joy and our fear of joy. And today I'm going to be talking about the fear that joy means I'm in the belief of separation. So I'll give a little bit of context first and then explain more about what this means. So if you're in a non-dual exploration, you'll perhaps have heard about there's no self, or there's no separate self, there's nobody here. And in that exploration, sometimes it can be believed, and it is believed, that if I'm enjoying something, so for example, if I'm celebrating a success, it means I'm in the belief of separation. So let's take this a step back into the context of the metaphor of the river again. And reminder, if you've not seen that video, sign up to my free training. I'll put the link in the description, because it really just makes it so much easier to explain our experience. So at the level of whirlpools, this is the level of beliefs, this is the level of the mind. And the origin of all those beliefs is the belief that I'm a separate self, the belief that I'm a separate somebody. And then all these other whirlpools get added to it about what kind of somebody I am and what kind of somebody I have to be in order to get love, inclusion, what kind of somebody I have to avoid being in order to stop being rejected. And so in the exploration, so also this belief in being a separate self, the belief in separation, the belief in being a person is the source of all seeking and resisting, because its nature is lack. Because the minute we believe we're separate, we've forgotten the wholeness that we already are. And we always are. It's like we've put a mask over our face and we've lost sight of our wholeness. And so instantly when we're in the belief of separation, it feels like there's a lack. It feels like there's a problem. It feels like there's an issue with me that I need to do something about. And so that gives rise to this seeking and resisting. I need to find something in order to make myself feel whole, or I need to resist all the stuff that might be taking away the feeling of wholeness. And so one of the things that this seeking and resisting mind will do is seek for achievements in order to feel better. So if I could just do a whole bunch of stuff, if I could win, if I could succeed, if I could achieve, then I'll be okay. Then I'll feel whole again. That must be the thing that's making me feel this sense of lack and incompleteness. So if I could just do a bunch of stuff and win at a bunch of stuff, then I'll be okay. Then I'll feel complete again. Then I'll feel whole again. And of course we do temporarily, because in the achievement of whatever the thing was that the mind said we should achieve to feel better, the mind falls away in the belief that, oh, we did it. Awesome. We achieved success. Good. Tick. We're safe. We're whole again. Where in reality, it's that absence of the activity of a mind which reveals the feeling of wholeness that we always were. It was only this activity of the mind that was obscuring that feeling in the first place. And in the achievement of the thing, the mind falls away and it reveals the wholeness that was always who we are. This is at the top of the river, by the way, this hand up here. So in the experience of joy, what I innocently came to believe through the non-dual exploration was that if I'm ever celebrating a success, it must mean I'm in the belief of separation. If I'm ever trying to achieve something, it must mean I'm in the belief of separation. Because surely only a lacking whirlpool egoic mind would ever need to achieve anything and would ever care about celebrating a success, because then it thinks it's made it, then it thinks it's achieved, then it thinks it's won, then it thinks, phew, I'm okay, and the mind settles down. So I'd come to equate all enjoyment might be exaggeration, but certainly successes and achievements and wins and celebrations, I'd come to associate with essentially a lower level of consciousness. Like, oh, look at those people over there celebrating their business successes. Oh, they haven't really seen the truth of who they are, because yeah, they must believe they're a separate self who needs to win, who needs to succeed. Oh, bless them, poor unenlightened people. That's what was happening quietly in my system. Not very obvious, but it was there. I see that now. And so hence for me, there could be no try again. There could be no movement towards wins or successes. There couldn't be enjoyment of wins or successes, because there was a new belief had been adopted that said, oh, if you're enjoying your wins and successes, that's because you're in the belief of separation. You believe you need to win in order to be okay. It's just not true. It's purely not true. Because we can absolutely, as life, as the creator of all of life, we love doing stuff. We love creating things. We love succeeding at things that we enjoy. We love celebrating successes and wins. Why wouldn't we? When our nature is to live fully and to enjoy this full experience of life, why would we not want to have the wins and successes, as well as the challenges and the difficulties? We do want that full human experience. That's what we're here for. And so what happens is, as that identification with the whirlpool mind falls away, more of that pure creation and enjoyment of winning and succeeding and achieving can just happen and be celebrated and enjoyed purely for what it is, not in order to make me feel better, not in order to secure an insecure separate self, not in order to fix what seems to be or feels to be broken or lacking, just for the pure enjoyment of it. And so the fear of joy that can arise is this fear of, if I'm enjoying, then it must only be evidence of being in separation, in being in the belief of separation. And it's just not true. The evidence for that is in the feeling of it, always in the feeling of it. Because here, when we're in the belief of separation, feeling that we lack and thinking, I need to do something, I need to achieve something, I need to win at something in order to feel better, that feeling is very different. It's sticky, it's heavy, it's labored, it's constricting, it's not fun. Even if on the surface we think we're having fun, there's a little background, it doesn't feel quite right. It feels like we're forcing this. It doesn't feel like we're working in alignment here. And that's great, because then it actually reveals the beliefs that are being circulated, the beliefs that are being identified and attached to at the level of these whirlpools. It means that we get to see them. So there is nothing wrong with acting and creating and moving towards achievements from that belief in separation, because the more we do that, the more the yucky feeling of it will be revealed, the more the discomfort, the more the misalignment will be revealed. Great, because then that gets us to see, what is it I've been believing at the level of whirlpools? What is it I've been attached and identified to? What is it I've been thinking I have to do first in order to feel happy or joyful? So it's always providing us an opportunity to recognize all these whirlpools and fall back into the feeling of ourself. So you'll notice if you're creating via a whirlpool mind and a belief in separation, because it won't feel good. And it provides you the opportunity to inquire into it and understand it and see it for what it is. And in contrast to that, if you are creating in pure flow, achieving, succeeding, going for wins, going for $10 billion income a year, whatever it is that lights you up, does not matter, because what life cares about is that we're lit up. And so whatever it wants to create through you, when that's done in that flow, in alignment, just for the fun of it, just because why not? Then that feels so different, because then it's laced with joy, it's laced with lightness. It's just enjoyed for the process and the fun of doing it, for what we could possibly create, rather than, yeah, I need to create this because then I'll feel okay. No, it's I'm okay, I am joy, I am lightness and enjoyment already. Now let's see what I want to create. Now let's see what wants to come through me, for the fun of it, for the enjoyment of it. And so that's always going to be your barometer. And so then we don't need to worry so much about, am I in the belief of separation? We don't need to be so vigilant for this apparent separate self. It will get revealed in the experience of it. So we don't need to become vigilant to joy as though it's always going to be evidence of me being unenlightened or unawake. We're all always going to move through various levels of conditioning from that whirlpool experience. Really, whether there's a belief in separation or not, the patterns can still play. And so our interest really, we want to be on, let's do stuff, let's create stuff, let's do what looks obvious and fun to do. And if there's whirlpools in it, they'll get revealed as we go further along the path. They might be obvious from the very start, in fact. You might already recognize stuff you're doing, which is with the purpose of trying to feel better, trying to feel okay, trying to feel whole again. If that's the case, great. You can start inquiring already to remember that you are already that feeling of wholeness. But notice that, and notice the times when you've just been in that pure flow and the pure enjoyment of creation, purely for the sake of creation, not in order to anything, just for the fun of it. I'd love to hear your experiences of this, so drop them below. Lots of love. See you soon. Take care.